Hello and welcome to the English Magnet. Today's video, the present perfect, made easy. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced learner, the present perfect tense can be a bit perplexing. It's one of those odd verb tenses that seldom translates well into one's mother tongue. But fear not. By the end of this video, you'll have a solid grasp of the present perfect. We'll cover its structure, when to use it, the related key time words, and common mistakes to avoid. All right, let's get to work. Structure of the present perfect. Okay, the present perfect consists of two words, an auxiliary, have or has, and a past participle. No need to remember these terms. Just focus on subject plus have or has plus third form of verbs. That third form is either ed for regular verbs like washed and borrowed, and for irregular verbs it might be similar to its past simple form like found and understood, but they can also be different, like eaten and ridden. Unfortunately, you'll have to remember these irregular forms. Sorry about that. Still, the structure is pretty straightforward, and you can recognize it when you see have or has followed by a past participle. It's basically another verb word which actually holds the action. Please note that you can use contractions to blend the subject and have, has, giving you I've, you've, we've, they've, she's, he's, and it's. When expressing a negative, just plug not between the two verb words. The usual contraction is with have or has and not, giving you haven't and hasn't. But you can keep the contraction of the subject and have or has, plus not, to emphasize the negative form. I've not, you've not, and so on. But the former contraction is much more common. When using the present perfect in a question, just flip the order of the subject and have, has. Have I not? Have you not? And so on. Or the contracted forms haven't or hasn't plus subject plus past participle. In short, the different forms give us you have washed the car, or you've washed the car. You have not washed the car, or you haven't washed the car, or you've not washed the car. Have you washed the car? Have you not washed the car? Or haven't you washed the car? Now, here's where people have a bone to pick with the present perfect. When do you use it? Avoid thinking in your native language. It might have a similar verb tense, but its meaning probably doesn't match, or partially at best. So the present perfect is a great way to really think in English and internalize some rules. The key concept is that the present perfect is like a bridge between the past and the present. It's a way to refer to an action which started in the past and has a connection to the present. It can fall under 4 different cases. Number 1, it can be used to talk about an unfinished action or unfinished time period. Obviously here, past and present are linked as something's not over. Example, Mario has learned Korean for 2 years. So Mario started learning 2 years ago and is still learning now. Example, I have not written any emails today. Today is not over yet. The time period isn't finished, and so not writing emails could still change. Number 2, it can be used to talk about a recent past action. Here, past and present are linked by how short of a time went by between the end of the action and the present. So although the action is completed, it can still impact the present. Example, the children have already done their homework. The completed action influences the present. Homework was done earlier than expected, so kids might be allowed to go play outside instead. Example, the neighbors have just flown back from their vacation. How recent the action was completed has an incidence on what's happening now. The neighbors came back home very recently, as we can see them bring suitcases into their house. Number 3, it can be used to talk about life experiences or accomplishments. Your life is basically a collection of past actions, which are all linked to your present self. So yeah, past and present are connected. Example, Lana has climbed a mountain in the Alps. Lana's life adventures include a climbing milestone, and she's still alive and kicking. This expresses an important accomplishment, linking past and present. Example, my uncle has never traveled to India. Uncle's past experiences don't include a trip to India, but it's never too late. He could still visit India. If I were to use the past simple, my uncle never traveled to India, that would imply no connections to the present, so my uncle would no longer be with us. Number 4, it can be used to talk about a repeated action. An action happening several times in the past is connected to the present as it may happen again. Example, my sister has visited our grandparents every weekend. The visits happened many times and will most likely continue beyond the present time. Example, so far I've seen birds 4 times by the feeder. Some birds showed up to the feeder on 4 separate occasions, and more might show up again. Why not? I mean, who turns down free food? Key time words. Since the present perfect covers actions linked to the past and the present, some time words are often used to help define the time span of the action. It helps to provide context about when an action happened or how long it lasted. The following list includes the most common ones. For an unfinished action, since and for. Use since to refer to the starting point of an ongoing action. Follow it with a specific date, time, or event. Since 2020, since last year, since the beginning of the class. Use for to refer to a period of time as it focuses on duration. Follow it with a time period. For 2 days, for several decades, for a long time. Example, she has studied French since last month. The studying started in the past and is ongoing as of now. Mike has volunteered at the animal shelter for 6 months. The volunteering started in the past and is ongoing as of now. For a recent past action, recently, already, just. Please note that these words are usually found between have or has and the past participle. They have similar meanings. Just implies the action happened a short time ago, even immediately before the present. Recently also refers to an action which happened a short time ago, but not as immediate as just. Already signals that an action was completed earlier than expected and not long ago. Example, he has just eaten lunch. Eating is over, so he's not hungry now. Example, they have recently redecorated their apartment. Redecorating is done, so the apartment looks different now. Example, they have already seen that movie. Seeing the movie was done before, perhaps unexpectedly, so we should watch a different one now. For life experiences, ever, never, yet. Use ever when asking questions to inquire about actions that might have happened at some point in someone's life. The word order is important here. Have or has plus subject plus ever plus past participle. Try to memorize the common form, have you ever been? Use never when making a negative statement about one's life. Remember to keep not away. The word never is found between have or has and the past participle. Use yet when making a negative statement about an action not happening, but with the expectation that it will happen in the future. Yet is used along with not in a sentence, but it's found at the end of that sentence. Example, have you ever jumped out of an airplane? Jumping out of an airplane, let's assume with a parachute, is a memorable accomplishment, so it falls in the life experience category. Example, I have never jumped out of an airplane. Jumping out of an airplane is not part of my life experiences. I might still do it, even if I'm scared of heights, but as of now, it has not happened. Example, I haven't jumped out of an airplane yet. Jumping out of an airplane is not part of my life experiences, but I intend on doing it at some point in the future. For a repeated action, up to now, so far, number of times. Use so far and up to now when an action has happened and progressed until the present. They also imply that the action will happen again later. So far is much more common, but up to now is preferable when the situation is about to come to an end. Use number of times to emphasize how an action happened more than once. And combined with the present perfect, it hints at the action happening again at some point. Example, she has practiced the piano every day so far this month. Or, she has practiced the piano every day up to now this month. Both versions imply that she has repeatedly played the piano and will keep on doing it on a daily basis. Additionally, up to now tells us that we are near the end of the month. Example, they have gone camping 6 times this summer. They repeated going camping 6 times and might do it again before the end of the summer. Common mistakes. Wrong past participle of irregular verbs. One common mistake learners make with the present perfect is using the wrong past participle. Irregular verbs have unique forms. Some past participles are like the past simple, so they're easy to remember. Keep, kept, kept. Lose, lost, lost. But for most of them, the past participle is a new form you have to learn by heart. Give, gave, given. Take, took, taken. The good news is a past participle only has one form. So once you've memorized it, you're done. But watch out. It's easy to mix the past simple form with the past participle. Example, they have went to the shop. Should be, they have gone to the shop. I haven't forgot the answer. Should be, I haven't forgotten the answer. Mixing up for and since. Another common error is confusing for and since when expressing time. For is used to indicate a period of time, while since is used to specify the starting point of an action or event. Try to remember, since and starting point both begin with S. Example, I have lived in this city since 5 years. Should be, I have lived in this city for 5 years. Example, I have lived in this city for 2019. Should be, I have lived in this city since 2019. Word order of time words. The word order of time expressions in the present perfect can sometimes be difficult for learners. Words like just, already, recently, and never are usually placed between the auxiliary verb, have or has, and the past participle. Example, our mechanic just has fixed our old car. Should be, our mechanic has just fixed our old car. Example, the bus already has left the station. Should be, the bus has already left the station. Example, my colleagues recently have written the report. Should be, my colleagues have recently written the report. Example, you never have tried sushi. Should be, you have never tried sushi. In the present perfect, yet is at the end of sentences. It's like a punchline. Example, I haven't yet spoken to my new manager. Should be, I haven't spoken to my new manager yet. There you go. The present perfect bridging the past and the present. If you're in the mood, be sure to watch more of our videos. Hopefully, this has just been helpful. A link to some free material to practice by yourselves can be found in the description below. Keep practicing and you'll get the hang of it. Thank you for watching. Until next time.